That night, the travelers rested on the bank of the Sarayu. Before they slept, Viswamitra taught the princess two secret mantras, Bala and Atibala, whose power would guard them from hunger, fatigue, and harm. Under the white stars, the boys received the sacred words with bowed heads, and a quiet strength settled over them. At dawn they rose and journeyed on, coming at last to Kamashrama in the land of Anga. Viswamitra presented the two princes to the rishis who dwelt there, and the holy men received the boys with warmth, marveling at their bearing and the light that seemed to shine from the elder prince. Viswamitra told the ashram's ancient tale. Here Lord Shiva once sat in deep austerity, and here foolish Manmatha, the god of love, dared to lose his flower at the great ascetic and was burned to ashes in the fire of Shiva's wrath. For this the place is called Kamashrama. The princess listened in awe. After a night, as the rishis' guests and the morning rites, the sage and his pupils travelled on to the sacred Ganga. A raft had been made ready for them, and they pushed out upon the broad, holy river, its cool waters gleaming beneath the climbing sun as they crossed toward the farther shore. In midstream, the princess heard a deep, rushing sound and asked what it might be. It is the Sarayu pouring herself into the Ganga, said the sage. Moved by the meeting of the two holy rivers, Rama and Lakshmana bowed their heads and offered silent worship to the sacred confluence. Beyond the river, they entered a dense and dreadful forest, where the roars of wild beasts echoed among the trees. This is the Dandaka forest, said Viswamitra. What is now a place of terror was once a happy, well-peopled land, until a curse and a monster laid it waste. The princess pressed on, alert and unafraid. The sage told how this land had once been blessed, when Indra, stained by sin, was cleansed here with waters from the sacred rivers. Those hallowed waters had soaked into the soil and made the whole country wondrously fertile. So even a god's cleansing had turned to the earth's abundance in ages past. But happiness did not last. Viswamitra continued. The demoness Tataka, wife of the Yaksha Sanda, and her son Maricha, brought havoc upon this land and turned it to wilderness. None dare enter now for fear of her. She has the strength of 20 elephants. I have brought you here to rid the world of her. Rama was puzzled. You say she is a Yaksha, he said. Yet I have never heard that Yakshas are especially strong. How does a woman come to possess such terrible power? Viswamitra smiled at the thoughtful question and began to explain the strange history of the monster Tataka. Her strength is a boon of Brahma, said the sage. A childless Yaksha named Suketu won from Brahma, a daughter of great beauty and the strength of 1,000. That was Tataka. She wed Sanda, and Maricha was their son. But Sanda perished under sage Agastya's curse, and grief turned Tataka toward vengeance. Enraged, Tataka and Maricha fell upon the sage Agastya, who cursed them both to become man-eating monsters, living upon the flesh of the dead. So the once beautiful Tataka was twisted into the hideous ogress, who now haunts this forest. To slay her, Rama, is no sin, for punishing the wicked is a king's sacred duty. Rama bowed his head. Our father charged us to obey you without question, he said. At your bidding, and for the good of all who suffer here, we shall destroy Tataka. Then, resolute, he lifted his great bow, ready to summon the monster from her hidden lair and end her long reign of terror. Rama drew back his bowstring and twanged it once. The shrill note rang through the whole forest like a challenge, and the wild beasts scattered in terror on every side. The very trees seemed to shiver at the sound, which carried far into the wilderness to the ears of the sleeping monster. The challenge reached Tataka in her fastness, and she started up in amazement that any creature dared enter her domain. Rage boiled within her. With a roar that shook the branches, she rushed toward the sound, hungry to crush the insolent intruder who had disturbed her cursed and lonely realm. Like a black storm, she burst upon the princess, and the battle was joined. At first, Rama, unwilling to kill a woman outright, thought only to maim her and spare her life. But Tataka fought like a demon unleashed, soaring into the sky and raining down great stones upon the two brothers. The princess stood their ground beneath the storm of stones, and the fight raged on. Seeing Rama still hesitate, Viswamitra called out a warning. She deserves no pity. The sun is setting, and at night the Rakshasas grow mightier. Do not delay the death blow. Rama, strike her down now, before darkness lends her strength. Thus urged, Rama cast aside his hesitation. He fitted a deadly arrow, drew the string to his ear, and loosed it straight into the monster's heart. With a shriek that tore the dusk, the huge and hideous Tataka toppled and crashed to the earth, lifeless at last, and the forest fell silent. From the heavens, the Devas raised a joyful cheer, and Viswamitra, overcome with delight, embraced Rama and blessed him warmly. With the monster's death, the ancient curse lifted from the land. The dark and dreadful forest seemed to breathe again, its shadows softening into a new and gentle beauty. At dawn, Viswamitra called Rama to his side. "You have made me very happy," he said. "What can I give you in return?" "I shall teach you the use of all the divine astras." And so, out of the treasure of his own long penance, the sage bestowed the celestial weapons upon the young prince. Viswamitra taught Rama how to summon, control, and recall each mighty weapon, and Rama in turn passed the knowledge on to his devoted brother Lakshmana. Now armed with powers to shake the three worlds, the two princes journeyed onward, ever more worthy of the great tasks their destiny held in store. As they walked, Rama pointed to a lovely wooded hill in the distance. "Is that the place we seek? Who are the evil ones who trouble your sacrifice? And how shall I destroy them?" Eager to serve and to earn the sage's blessing, the young prince pressed for the tale of what lay ahead. "That is Siddhashrama," said the sage, "where Lord Narayana himself once did penance, and where he took birth as the dwarf Vaman." And as they walked, Viswamitra told the wondrous story of Mahabali, the mighty Asura king, whose power once made even the gods themselves afraid. Mahabali, grandson of the good Prahlada, had grown so mighty that he seized the very power of Indra. And the Devas trembled before him. In their fear, Kashyapa and Aditi, parents of the gods, prayed to Lord Vishnu, begging him to be born as their son and set the anxious heavens free. In answer to their prayer, Vishnu was born of Aditi as Vaman, a small and radiant brahmachari. In the guise of a humble young student, he came to Mahabali's great sacrifice, where all who asked were given whatever they desired. The tiny Brahman bowed before the towering, generous king. Mahabali's guru Sukra saw the truth and whispered a warning. This was Lord Hari himself, come in disguise to undo him. But the king would never refuse a suitor, and in his heart, he was a devotee. If the Lord deigns to take a gift from me, he thought, I am blessed indeed. Smiling, he bade Vaman ask. Ask what you will, said Mahabali. Gold, jewels, the wide earth and all it holds. Everything I have is yours. But Vaman answered that wealth was nothing to him. He begged only for 3 paces of ground, as measured by his own small feet. The king laughed gently at so modest a request and granted it at once. No sooner was the vow sealed than the little bachelor began to grow. Up and up, he swelled into the cosmic form of Trivikrama, filling the sky. With one vast stride, he measured the whole earth, and with the second, he spanned all the heavens, leaving no room anywhere for the third promised step. With earth and heaven already measured, where could the third step fall? Humbly Mahabali bowed his head and offered it for the final stride. The Lord set his foot upon the devoted king's head. For in God's eyes, a true devotee's head is as vast as earth and sky. And Mahabali became one of the 7 immortals. This is that holy place. Viswamitra ended, where first Narayana and then Kashyapa did their penance, and where God came down as Vaman. Here I make my home, and here the Rakshasas come to defile our worship. Your coming, Rama, is to end that evil for good. So be it, said the prince simply. The arrival of the sage and the 2 princes filled the ashram with joy. The rishis offered water and fruit in welcome. Rama urged Viswamitra to begin his sacrifice at once. And that very night, the great sage took up his sacred vows, entering the silent, unbroken discipline the rite demanded. The next morning, the princess asked when the demons might come, so that they could be ready. Viswamitra, bound now by a vow of silence, could not reply. But his younger rishis told them, for 6 days and 6 nights, they must keep ceaseless watch, guarding the sacrifice from every harm. Fully armed, the 2 princes kept their vigil, watchful and tireless through 6 long days and nights. No shadow escaped their eyes, no sound their ears. On the 6th morning, Rama turned to his brother. Now Lakshmana, is the hour the enemy will come. Let's be wary. And they braced themselves for battle. Even as Rama spoke, the sacrificial flames leapt suddenly high. For Agni, the fire god, knew the demons had come. A great and terrible roar rolled down from the sky. Rama looked up and saw the Rakshas host gathering overhead like an immense black thundercloud, ready to defile the sacred rite. Look, Lakshman, cried Rama, and he loosed the Manavastra at Maricha. As he intended, it did not kill the demon. Instead, it seized him in an irresistible force and flung him 100 yojanas away, hurling him far out across the distant sea, tumbling helplessly beyond the horizon. Then Rama fitted the fiery Agneyastra and struck down Subahu, who fell blazing from the sky. Side by side, the 2 brothers turned their divine weapons on the whole demon army, scattering and destroying it utterly. In moments, the darkness lifted, and the sky above the ashram shone clear and bright once more. Viswamitra's sacrifice was fulfilled at last, and the sage overflowed with gratitude. I thank King Dasharatha, he said, and I admire your fortitude, Princess. Through you, this ashram is once more a place of success, truly Siddhashrama. The rishis rejoiced, and peace settled again over the holy hill. The next day, after their morning prayers, the princess came to Viswamitra for further commands. The sage's face glowed like a flame, for he knew now, beyond mere expectation, the greatness of the prince he guarded, and he turned his thoughts to the next service he must render, the winning of Sita for Rama. The gathered rishis then said to Rama, "We are traveling to the kingdom of Videha, where King Janaka, the great philosopher king, is holding a mighty sacrifice at his capital Mithila. Come with us. It is fitting that the prince of Ayodhya should behold the marvelous bow that stands in Janka's court. Rama's heart stirred at the mention of the wondrous bow, though he did not yet know what fate awaited him in Mithila. So it was decided. Bidding farewell to Siddhashrama, the princess set out once more with Viswamitra. Their road now bending toward Janka's city and a meeting that would change everything. They journeyed through fair and settled country now, the horrors of the wild forest behind them. Along the way, Viswamitra told the princess the histories of the lands and rivers they passed, and Rama listened with a scholar's delight, storing up wisdom as eagerly as he had gathered his weapons. With every league, the young hero grew, not only in skill, but in the quiet dignity that would one day make him beloved of the whole world. The slaying of the monsters was only the beginning. Greater trials and greater glories lay ahead, and Rama walked toward them with a calm and steady heart. And so, having freed a forest from its curse and mastered the weapons of the gods, Rama drew near to Mithila. There, in Janka's court, stood a bow that no mortal could bend, and beside it waited a princess born of the earth. The next chapter of destiny was about to open before him.